Dogs before and after they were rescued by their owners. Cats and dogs walk a fine line. Each day could be their last, and you can thank humanity for that. There are a lot of mean people in the world who either neglect or mistreat animals. As a result, these creatures suffer needlessly. Fortunately, there are folks out there with pure souls who will shelter and love these wayward animals. So, here are some photos of dogs before and after they were adopted. A little love and some TLC can work wonders, and you'll definitely see that in these photos. These dogs didn't have a great life before, but they've overcome life's obstacles. Now they look amazing. The original owners of this pit bull got one thing right: he was definitely one heck of a fighter. As a puppy, Apollo was made to participate in dog fights. He sustained horrible injuries, but when he was 6 weeks old, a family rescued him, and after undergoing a bunch of surgeries, he still has a bit of a limp, but he's one happy little pit bull. When Jordan Kahara went on a cross-country trip, he had no idea he'd run into these two amazing pups. Kahara bumped into Sedona and Zeus while walking by the side of the road. It was an accident, but rather than leave them there, he put them in his car. Now they're his travel companions, and they've visited 35 states so far. Augustus was practically a skeleton when he was found roaming around the streets of Chicago. He was wounded. One of his injuries was in his leg. It was caused by a gunshot. His skin had chemical burns, and he was malnourished. But with the right medical care, the vets saved his life. Now he's found a forever home with the director of the animal shelter. Willow's previous owners decided to sell her to a Korean meat farm in exchange for a measly $20. Thankfully, the Save Korean Dogs organization saved Willow and 300 other dogs from the meat farm. Willow could have ended up in someone's belly. Fortunately, the 11-year-old poodle got a second chance and became a lovely, fluffy dog. Some animals get dumped on the side of the road, but Vita was literally dumped inside of a trash dump. Vita weighed 70 pounds when she was first found in a dumpster in LA. The German Shepherd's condition was critical. It took vets a couple of months to get Vita back to full health. It just goes to show you that proper care and attention can work wonders. If it hadn't been for the help of the internet, Meaty might not have ever found himself a forever home. Meaty was in a shelter, but his photo was posted on Fresno Bully Rescue's website. That's where a woman named Lisa first saw him. Meaty looked an awful lot like a dog she owned. Unfortunately, the dog passed away, but Meaty was the spitting image. So Lisa adopted the pooch with the best smile ever. Cedar was found roaming around near a golf course, and he was only half the dog he was meant to be. He was underweight, exhausted, and he'd gone bald from the stress. Fortunately, a rescue team found him and nursed him back to health. Through it all, he remained quite friendly with everyone. Today, his fur has grown back and he's in a forever home. Stellar expected her owners to love her forever, but they ended up giving her away to a local shelter. Before they gave her up, they cut Stella's ears. At this point, the pooch had given up on life. But then a loving family adopted her, and she went from being alone and miserable to smiling with everlasting joy. Kaio was roaming around on the side of the road after his original owners abandoned him like trash. You could see the look of fear in his tiny eyes in the before picture. Now the crossbreed of an Italian cane corso and a pit bull is 105 pounds heavier and happy. He's also very friendly, a great swimmer, and is so darn adorable too. When Belle was found, rescuers discovered that her skin was invaded by hundreds of ticks. The ticks had burrowed their way into her skin, and Belle was in no condition to fight. She was extremely weak and hungry. Fortunately, her fur is now free of ticks, and eventually she was able to find humans who made her part of their family. Coffee might look like a statue, but he's real, and he couldn't wait for rescuers to eventually find him. He went looking for help. As soon as the volunteers noticed him, their jaws hit the floor. They were surprised that he still had a glimmer of hope and that he could wag his tail. But over the course of several months, Coffee received the treatment he needed, and now he looks livelier. Miller was roaming around the neighborhood when some of the locals decided to call the cops on him. The Doberman might look terrifying, but he's actually quite friendly and loyal. Police officers took the animal to a shelter. While he was there, Miller found his true calling. Now he helps other scared or sick dogs to communicate with animals and trust humans. Boo looked like she had just undergone the ALS challenge when she was found on the side of the road. She had a tough time walking. Her hair was so matted that it tangled her legs up, but her paws weren't in great condition either. They had burns on them because Boo was apparently standing in urine for a while. Fortunately, she was groomed, cleaned up, and now she's gorgeous. Volunteers found this Shih Tzu puppy, and it was quite possibly in the worst physical condition ever. His fur was a mess, his teeth were rotten, and he was horribly weak. The volunteers made sure that he received the very best medical care possible. It turns out that there was still a lot of fight left in this Shih Tzu. He endured and is now able to communicate and bond with animals and people.